So what is one thing that Pakistanis are really crazy about? That turned out really obvious. Yes, it's definitely food. And the next 10 minutes, I'll try and make you guys a little more hungrier. During this summer, I was with my 5-year-old son in Hunza. And I was visiting Hunza after 25 years. So there were two things that really stood out. One were the beautifully paved roads. And the second thing were the biryani centers. You could see shops of biryani centers popping up here and there from Gilgit to Hunza to Sust. Now you will be wondering why I'm so against biryani. Same story is repeated when I went to Chitral with my family. Now, Chitral is a city of 400,000 people where 40 languages are spoken. Their cuisine has influences from Iranian culture. The ingredients are as unique as goat cheese, capers. When you go to a restaurant in Chitral, the first two food offerings would be chicken kadai and biryani. Going back to Hunza. Now, Hunza itself is one of the most diverse regions of Pakistan. The different languages that are spoken there, the different religions that are there, and definitely the Hunzai cuisine. So much so that research has been done on Hunzai cuisine of how it adds longevity. The ingredients, again, you need apricot oil. You get to taste the local vegetables. My question today to all of you is, when in Hunza, when in Chitral, why eat biryani? Ladies and gentlemen, food is culture. Cuisine is recognized as one of the intangible cultural heritage by UNESCO among art, craft, and music. And Pakistan cuisine is one of the most diverse cuisines in the world. From the area of KPK, where food is cooked just in salt, you travel to Sindh, where there's so many blend of spices. That is the diversity that Pakistani cuisine has to offer, and that is the diversity which shows and tells us so many stories about us, about our culture. Let's take an example of our beloved biryani, a plate of it. You look at it, there is rice, which is lovingly grown by a farmer in Sindh. It's the best basmati rice is grown in Pakistan. The blend of spices and the aroma of it, that has been mastered and brought down from one generation to the other generation. It talks to you about the history of Mughals that we have witnessed, and also tells you about the food culture that migrated from Delhi to Karachi. And this is precisely the reason why you'll never find a perfect place of biryani in Islamabad, but you definitely have to go to Karachi for that. Ladies and gentlemen, eat local. This is my idea to be spread today. Wherever you go, wherever you are traveling to, eat local. And let me give you some example of some of the dishes that you might have never tasted, but they are a very important part of our food culture. Take the example of hoye garma. Now, in how I explain it, hoye garma is from a Hunzai cuisine. It is essentially a deconstructed spinach ravioli. Sounds fancy enough, right? It is cooked using these locally grown vegetables out of Hunza and topped with a very fine bread. And what is even more exciting and more special about this dish is that it is cooked by these amazing women, whether it's Saira, whether it's Safina, who are taking this tradition and taking it forward. Let's go to Chitral. Meet Shapnek Maghzi. This is a Chitrali bread made out of goat cheese. Now, if you're traveling to US, you'll probably pay $15 for a goat cheese sandwich, and it's so fancy. This Shapnek Maghzi is topped with walnut oil. Similarly, cooked by women using their traditional cooking techniques in a wood fire stove here. So why should we eat local? Why am I saying we should eat local? So there are some of the reasons that I want to unpack for you so you can understand. Number one, these are cuisine, food which is made out of local ingredients, grown from there. So whether it's goat cheese in Chitral, whether it's walnut, whether it's apricot, whether it's the spinach that we're talking about, Hoy Garma, it supports your local ecosystem. It supports your farmers. Secondly, all these dishes that I talked about, they have these traditional recipes and tools that are used to make them. So they are not just any pizza or any burger, but they are recipes that have been passed from one generation to another. And one of the reasons why it's very important is because it allows people to participate in this booming tourism industry, right? People like Diana and her mother, who can now, doesn't need to learn how to cook pasta or doesn't need to learn how to cook Sindhi biryani. She can just use her own skill and participate in this tourism, in this booming tourism industry, and provide the opportunity. We can provide the opportunity for women like her. And of course, my favorite bit, whenever you go out to these areas, and you ask them that we want to taste your food, we want to taste your culture, that is when you make friendships. They open their hearts for you. They give you more than what you can give them, money, that is. Pakistani regional cuisines are dying. Whether it's Kashmiri cuisine not being passed from one generation to another, whether it's us going to these 15 million of us going to these beautiful areas and not experiencing this rich food heritage that we have, we, as the 15 million who go to these areas, and each one of you sitting here tonight, today, each one of us represent a food culture. And who will preserve that? The government is not going to come in. It's us, it's each one of our responsibility to preserve that food culture, to document them into, by documenting the recipes of your family tradition and taking it forward. I pledge to you, to wherever you go, eat local. And when you are in Chitral or Hunza next time, ask yourself, why eat biryani? Thank you.